Hi guys, today we're going to be making a really gorgeous gold embossed elephant card. This is going to be a birthday card, but this could work for any occasion, and I also think it's very gender neutral. Even though it's going to have some flowers, it still could be great for a guy card. So first off, we're going to go over what we're going to use. This Recollections stamp set, it's called Elephant Flowers, and it's really pretty. I got this I think last year on clearance, so I'm not sure if they still sell this anymore. We're also going to use Versamark, some in gold embossing powder. This is from A La Mode. We also have black cardstock, white cardstock, and some gold perfect pearls. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, I'm going to be taking my Versamark and inking up my stamp. Just want to make sure you get a nice even coating of this. And this is what we're going to be using as our embossing ink. It gives the embossing powder something to stick to. Just want to coat that up really well. You can tell my embossing pad is very well loved. I once spilt that embossing powder up there on it. So here I'm just going to use my Fiskars stamp press, and this is going to help me get a nice even image when I press down, and also make sure I line it up nice and straight. I'm just going to apply nice even pressure over the entire stamp. And there is our Versamarked image. So next we're going to be taking our embossing powder, and I'm just going to fast forward this. Really just, you're going to sprinkle this on, get a nice even coating over the entire thing, and don't worry about putting on too much because you're just going to funnel it right back into your container. And I always forget to use my little embossing buddy thing. I don't know why, I even set it out, but I forgot. But I do like how this gold embossing powder gives the paper kind of a shimmer, so I really don't mind that it left behind little flecks of gold shimmer. And now the fun part. Got my embossing gun out, and I'm going to heat this up. And here you can start to see the embossing powder melting to a smooth gold shine. I absolutely love gold, so I'm pretty happy that gold is still trending. And even if it wasn't trending, I know I'd use it because I love the look of gold. So here I'm just going over the entire image, and on occasion I'm going to run the gun on the back side of the paper just to help with the paper not to warp as much. So here we have the finished image. It is nice and shiny and beautiful. So I'm just going to set that aside. And here I have a 5x5 inch piece of black cardstock. And we're going to be stamping these 3 little flowers that came in that set. And these flowers we're going to be stamping with the Versamark ink again, and we're going to be embossing them with gold. And we're going to be stamping each of the flowers just around the perimeter of this paper. You want to go off the paper and have some of the flowers be on the paper, but you don't need to go into the center or even very far off of the edge because we're going to be covering it up with our elephant image. So go ahead and just randomly stamp all around. And here I'm going to change out my stamp for the last smallest flower. And even though these are flowers, they're really not feminine, so that's why it works so well for a manly card as well. So I'm just going to put on my last few. And now we will get ready to do some more heat embossing. Get out my piece of paper and my gold embossing powder, and to sprinkle that around just like before, nice even amounts over the entire Versamarked stamped area. And if you get a little on places you didn't want, because once again I forgot to use my embossing buddy thing, and you just take a paintbrush and just sweep it right off. And then you just get your heat gun back out again and start embossing all of those flowers. I've got this in pretty fast motion, but they are so pretty as they melt. So I'm just going to go around the entire thing, and then on occasion I'm going to heat up the back just to help with warping. This is Recollections black cardstock, so it's not super thick. Just have a couple more to go. And when you're finished, you can see how gorgeous and shiny these are. And don't worry if your paper is a little bit warped. We're going to be using lots of glue and some foam adhesive to keep it down flat. So here you can see how the images are going to be lined up. And from here you can decide what you want to be the top and the bottom. And then we're just going to set this aside though because we have one more thing to do. So I have this piece of black cardstock, and that's going to be our mat for the gold elephant. And this mat measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches. And I didn't have gold paper, and my gold ink is kind of old, so I'm going to use this Perfect Pearls in Perfect Gold. So you're also going to need a small paintbrush and some water. I like to keep my water in this Best Foods jar. It has a great lid on it so I won't spill it on my work surface, and then when it gets dirty I just empty it out and put in fresh water. So you just dip your paintbrush in, you get some water, and you want to also dip it into your Perfect Pearls, and this is going to create a really beautiful gold paint. And once it's mixed with water or set with water, it's permanent, so it's not going to rub off on anything. And you can see that this is gorgeous. It doesn't take much time at all. And we're just going to be doing the edges of the paper. So you want to just go ahead and do all 4 sides. So I'm just going to put this on super fast forward and finish painting up all my sides. And you can see this glides on really smooth. And when you get all 4 sides painted, you can see how beautiful the light captures that gold paint. Okay, so now we're ready to glue our elephant to our mat. And for this, I'm just going to use my Tombow Mono liquid glue. Just going to run that over and just line it up and stick it down. And you just want to make sure it's even and then rub your fingers around the edges to get a good tight seal and clean up any glue if it happens to spill out. And on occasion you will have some gaps, and whenever that happens to me, I just take a little bit of my multi-matte medium and I squeeze out a tiny bit on my craft mat. Sorry I'm off frame, but it really is just a small amount. And I take a toothpick and I pick some of that glue up, and then I just take the toothpick and go ahead and go right underneath that gap. Just like that. And just do that anywhere that you might have a gap in your paper, and then just hold down with some light pressure, and that will adhere those really well together. So next up, we're going to glue the gold embossed flower part to the card front. And I'm just going to use my Tombow Mono liquid glue, just go all around the sides, and I am going to use my finger and just kind of rub the glue around a little bit, that way when I seal it, it's not going to smush out. Then you just want to line that up and go ahead and seal down all the edges. Okay, and next up we're going to be putting the elephant onto the card front. And to do that, we're going to be using our foam adhesive tape. And I'm just going to be putting a lot on just all around the edges. Since this was, slightly warped, I just want to make sure everything lays completely flat. I'm just going to do one more piece in the middle, and then you just want to remove all of that backing. And when you get that done, just center it on your project and press down. So this is our card so far, but we're still missing one thing, which is the sentiment. I used this Inkadinka set right here, and on that happy birthday sentiment, I actually cut it across right there. Then I cut it again between the happy and the birthday. That way I could do a stack sentiment. And for time's sake, I've already matted it, and I did the same Perfect Pearls painting around the edge, and it matches perfectly. So for this, we're just going to use the foam adhesive tape again. Just cut a big or a small piece and just stick it right on the back. And you just want to peel off the backing and go ahead and center that exactly where you want it. I'm just putting mine up in the upper left corner. And so that is our card front. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. And so now we're going to work on the inside. And for that, I just have some black cardstock And then I've already adhered some gold perfect pearl cardstock that I painted to some white cardstock. And I'm just going to adhere those together and trim them down. Then after you do that, you're just going to take your favorite adhesive and stick it on the back. I'm going to use my ATG gun. And then just center that. And I did accidentally cut the black a little too small, but for time's sake, I'm just going to go with it. So there we have our finished card. I absolutely love how this came out. My brother's birthday is March 14th, which is tomorrow, so this card is going to go to him. He loves elephants, so I know he will like this. So I'm going to leave you guys with a close-up of this card, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. See you soon. Bye.